Hello everybody, it's Richard Hart here. I just want to let you know that the Pulsechain.com mainnet has launched and PulseX.com on that mainnet has launched as well. I hope you guys are all enjoying it. We waited a couple years for this and it's finally here.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another day on Pulsechain. And man, the prices are going down, which means what? It means you're going to get more volume by buying and dollar cost averaging, like way more at the moment. So accumulation zone is in play. Now we're going to be covering the Richard Hart versus ECC topic today. Obviously, we've got an opinion piece and some inside intel from that, from the actual meeting. With the lawyers and the judge. We're going to talk about Pulsechain Decun upgrade. A couple hours ago, we got the a bit of update with the software for that, and we're going to cover that topic. And of course, we're going to cover all the markets as well. So let's get into it. It's going to be a big show. I hope you guys enjoy it. Get into the chat, make it lively, of course. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, and share. We're on Hex Token channel, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain X, 3 YouTube channels, over 10,500 subscribers. And you guys do make a difference by subscribing and hitting the like button, hit the bell for future videos. We're covering Pulsechain virtually every day, I would say. And of course, we have an occasional day off, but that's how we rock and roll here. Let's see who else is in the chat. We've got DG and Hexkin in the house there. Straight out there with the love. Like that. The DG, thanks very much. Go Superman. We got Sandy Beach in the house there. A big shout out from Sandy Beach. Where is that, Sandy Beach? There we are. Sandy Beach is here. Hello, Hex Token, everybody. Big shout out to you also. And of course, yes, it is a day 11 of the abdominal challenge and a glimpse of yours truly. Really? Is that right? Is that right? A bit of a teaser there from Sandy. And of course, you can find Sandy there, one of our awesome influencers in the space for Pulsechain Hex, and of course, covers fitness. Sandy Beach there. Go give her a follow and share her post around. Share it to your friends, get everybody else involved in health and fitness. You might be in crypto, but you want to be healthy for it too. And maybe you want to get a few little abs there as well for your core support. So a big shout out to Sandy for that. All right. Let's see who else is in here. We got Brennan in the house. Morning, Superman. Good to see you, Brennan, our TA guru in the house there. Let us know any thoughts that you got, Brennan, during the live show as we are going to be talking about charts, and let us know any of your thoughts that you have on that too. Pop them in the chat. I'll read those out. DJ and Hex against 5555. Absolutely. A max Hex stake. That's how we rock and roll. Surely Fortress says, hello, Superman. Many blessings. Hey, many blessings to you, Surely Fortress. And, of course, Anita as well. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Anita, welcome to the show. Good to see you as well. Surely Fortress says, I am first live. Yeah, are you over on Superman Crypto? Maybe you are. If you are over there, you are definitely first over on Superman Crypto. All right, let's get into it, folks. We're going to start with the stock market, kick it off. Get into the chat. Let us know your thoughts and opportunities and things like that. Go for gold, and let's bring it up. Bam. All right, so the stock market was down a bit yesterday, remember, because of the CPI data was bigger than expectations, pushing off expectations around the interest rate pivot. But today, we've kind of got the opening of reporting season. So S&P 500 closes higher on tech strength. Big bank earnings are eyed up there. Don't know why they write it like that, but that's their titles. Hope they haven't gone to Harvard or something just to write like that. That'd be really bad. We know how silly those Harvard people are at the moment. But anyway, we've got Dow Jones there is pretty much flat, down 2.4 points at 38,459. Remember, that's the top 30 industrials in the United States in that index. And we got the S&P 500 is up 0.74%. Let's say 0.75%, just around that, 38 points to 5,199. And the NASDAQ with all the tech companies in it is up 1.68%. So a really strong move from the NASDAQ there with the tech companies, up 271 points to 16,442. So pretty good day there on stock market. Dollar index pretty much flat at 105. So it's still pretty strong, the US dollar. And of course, without that interest rate pivot being pushed back, we've got that dollar's going to stay strong, isn't it? This is the way it goes. Let's move on to commodities. I think I've got hiccups there, but we got West Texas at $85 and Brent oil at $90. And of course, West Texas, they're up about 0.5%. Brent oil down slightly, about 0.1% there. Gold sitting at 2,393, up a whopping $20 for gold. A big move for gold, up almost 0.9%. And of course, silver there up 1% at 29 cents to $28.54. So we are starting to get that move in gold and silver. Let's have a look at the charts there. We're going to go max on the charts. Let's have a quick look at that. So that is that right? That doesn't look like max on the charts there. Let me go to gold. That's not showing the max. Sure, there's a longer time series than that. Anyway, the chart's not updating. So let's move on to the commentary. PPI, Producers Price Index, rises by less than expected in March. So that's good news. So we had bad news on the CPI. We got good news on the PPI. So it's kind of like a wholesale versus retail inflation gauge there. And often the PPI will flow into the CPI. That's kind of the logic there. U.S. producer prices increased by slightly less than expected in March. Yay! With PPI rising to 0.2% last month after rising by 0.6% in February. So a big rise in February there. Economists had expected the PPI to regain only 0.3%. In the 12 months through to January, the PPI increased 2.1%, below the 2.21 expectations after climbing 1.6 in February. Isn't that good? That's kind of good news. The data came just a day after consumer inflation for March rose more than expected, denting investor optimism for the Federal Reserve rate cut as soon as June. Markets see only a 24% chance of a cut in June, down from 61% seen last week. So a big move, right? 61 down to 24%. On the labor market front, the number of Americans filing new claims for unemployment benefits fell more than expected, suggesting that the labor market remained healthy. So that's labor market is what they're trying to trade off, right? The labor market for inflation, and the U.S. economy is staying resilient. We always know that interest rates typically impacts are very lagged, in particular because there was a lot of U.S. savings during all that low interest rate period and monetary printing with assets pumping, right? So it is a bit unusual at this time. But of course, we don't have low interest rates now, so we are quite a different environment, and a lot of savings has been spent. So we'll see how that plays out in the lag. It's going to be quite different from the past, I think. Let's jump over to the economic calendar. No, we won't. We'll go to the tools. We'll go to the tools, and we'll look at the Fed rate monitor and see what is happening for June there. We're going to jump past May meeting. We're going to June. So 77% of the market expecting a no change in June. So June not looking so hot for a change, a pivot. But let's see how July's going. 51% expecting a no change. Boy, things have got dismal, haven't they? September, what have we got there? September. Finally, we get to September. Are we really going to get pushed out that far for an interest rate pivot? And that will probably mean less cuts this year as well. I mean, we've priced in 3 rate cuts for the year. So at the moment, we're sitting at 29. So 70% chance of a pivot in September. Let's hope that we do get July. That'd be pretty nice. And of course, we want to, that's 2 main tools the Fed has, right? The interest rates and the amount of money printing that they're going to be doing or not. At the moment, they're in contraction, which is actually not that great. But hey, look, let's hope we get a pivot in monetary supply as well as the interest rates in the second half. We'll see how we go. All right, let's go from there. That is pretty much the stock market news, economic news. Let's get to crypto. BTC, $70,220. Down 0.5% at the moment. The Bitcoin dominance still a bit strong. 51.78% is domination there from BTC. Ethereum at the moment, 3,500, down 0.9%, but still holding strong. Both of those holding up pretty well, I think, as we're leading in closer to the Bitcoin halving. We can see some things are holding up. Solana, ADA are still up. Litecoin. What else is down? XRP, ICP. Let's see how Uni's going after it got slammed with the Wells notice. You guys know from the SEC, we talked about that yesterday. That's not Uniswap. That is Uniswap there. Let's go zoom. Down another 8.6% at $9.11 there on Uni, getting hit. Now, obviously, there's been fair criticism put against Uniswap for, they took Hex down, didn't they? Hex, and of course, Richard Hart and Hex community made Uniswap popular. And of course, but Uniswap, they took down Hex, but they're going to take their own Uni coin down. And I bet not, right? This is how the game's played. And here they come out saying, we're going to go out fighting. We're going to fight for DeFi. DeFi, you guys acted like centralized exchanges. You go cut down X. But in any case, they're in the same boat. So I guess we have to unite regardless of the truth, because maybe there's another fight that we all have to join up to. So let's see how that goes. And we're going to talk about Richard Hart and SEC soon. But anyway, we don't forget, right? We don't forget. Maybe we forgive, but we don't forget, right? That's the play. Or we get revenge. I don't know. You guys decide. But there we go. That is pretty much it on there. Let's go to Bitcoin and zoom in on that. So the 50-day moving average, they keep moving up. So $64,960. So we're almost at 65,000 on the 50-day. Pretty close to that. And we're at 49,544 on the 200-day moving average. We've just rolled over, have we? Yeah, 10 minutes into a new candle. So this red candle here is the day that we just finished. 69,530, high of 71,305. And we're currently in the middle, I guess, of that at 70,281, over 70K. Pretty awesome. Nice little consolidation in here as well. And of course, we are counting it down to the Bitcoin halving. Look how close that is getting. Is getting very close indeed. So let's count that through. We are 8 days away from the Bitcoin halving, but we got a better than that. We're going to do exactly the amount of time. So let's move on from the Bitcoin, and we can see that we've got just under 8 hours. Is that chart pretty good? I said 8 days. Look at that, 7 days and 23 hours and 37 minutes. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. And of course, we've got 1,197 blocks remaining. It just updated as we were looking. Of course, we're targeting block number 840,000. Woo! It's going to be fun, folks. And you guys know it's not just Bitcoin halving that's coming, but for many of you over on Ordinals on Bitcoin, it's kind of like the second layer ecosystem that's being bullish this year, for this bull market, I should say. Really, Bitcoin didn't have much last time. Maybe Lightning Network, things like that. But really, we've got the bull market here with Ordinals coming on top of Bitcoin's going to be big. And of course, we're only 1,196 away from that. So on the target of 840,000 blocks, we'll have the Bitcoin halving, and of course we'll also have the Runes protocol go live. So that's going to be fun times for those over there. Don't miss out on that piece of action for this bull market. It's going to be so good. Now, if you want to participate in part of that, get into the dialogue, join our Discord strategy club. Links in the video description. $30 a month, really great value. We're covering a lot of things on multi-chain and things you may not even thought of as well. So get in on that one. All right, so that is where we are at the moment, targeting the 20th of April. Let's get into some other news. Of course, we've got the Bitcoin halving coming up in less than 8 days now. But we've also got the Bitcoin mining difficulty has been hit a record of 86.4 trillion as companies generate massive amount of computing capacity before the much anticipated halving event in 8 days. Mining difficulty refers to the computer-generated power needed to solve complex mathematical equations. I sort of just put emphasis on there for no reason. Required for unlocking new Bitcoins. Yeah. BTC is scheduled to undergo a code change on April the 20th, of course. The latest mining difficulty report is the final update for this halving, and you can see the chart. It's like a boss. Look at that! Woohoo! It's even the Bitcoin difficulty on a vertical there. Was it parabolic, exponential? You decide. But that's looking pretty amazing there. Right. So this difficulty has gone up 600% since 2020, and yeah, just up and away there. And of course, you guys know the Bitcoin halving is coming up. And the block reward is going to be going down to the 3.15 Bitcoin. And of course, that's down daily from 900 Bitcoin that the miners will get to 450. So a lot of competition for those sweet blocks on the old Bitcoin. That leads us into Ethereum, of course. Ethereum at the moment, $3,515. Like a boss there. We got the 50-day moving average there at 3,379. The 200-day moving average at $2,691, almost $2,700. And of course, yesterday we had a low of 3,400, a range of 3,473, and a high of 3,600. So what's that? About $130, $40. But today we're kind of at the bottom range of that at 3,500. Still pretty good level there, as you can see. Pretty similar setup from as Bitcoin there. So obviously that's going to benefit from the Bitcoin halving in 8 days. We probably have some choppiness, on the other side of the Bitcoin halving. I think that's reasonable to expect, just like we did with the Bitcoin ETFs. So I might get a bit of a sell-off there maybe before we get that, what we're expecting, a big rise. And of course, we've got the Ethereum ETF coming up, but we're not too bullish about that because we've got that at about a 25% probability or less, unlike the Bitcoin ETF, which was like 90%, because we're not getting a lot of positive stuff out of the SEC. And we can already see the SEC is continuing its attack on crypto. So we got 41 days to go until the Ethereum ETF. So we'll see whether that turns out to be much at all, but no high expectations at this stage. And of course, the interest rate pivot may not happen on 24th of June. And of course, looking July or September at this stage. So looks like July at the earliest there. And so we're going to probably move this into July. I can't remember where the meeting is, but we're going to put that in there. That is pretty much it from Ethereum. Now we're going to get into Richard Hart, and of course that is we're going to get Richard Hart versus the SEC. But before we do that, let's welcome a few other people in the house as well. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Richard Hart and the SEC, and of course we're going to talk about Pulsechain Decun upgrade software just came out a few hours ago. So we'll get around to it. We got Heidi Highs between Sandy and Anita. Howdy. Who else we got in here? We got Check My Pulse. Good evening, man. Good evening to you. What's up, Hex Token family? And of course, Only Crypto says we will win. I like that. I like that fighting spirit that we will win. What's up, Hexkins and Superman? Force of one in the house there with a little name change. And of course, look at that little cool emoji, just like Check My Pulse with the old Hex Token channel membership here on YouTube. So big shout out, looking good. Don't forget to use your emojis in the chat there if you're a Hex Token channel member on YouTube. What else there? We got Brennan says karma for you uni delisting Hex. Yeah, absolutely, Brennan. How about that? The Living Man says PLS Maxi is here. Says the Living Man. Yeah, I'm bullish about PLSX and of course Maxi for the long run play. Definitely PLS. I guess you're talking about PLS Maxi. You're saying you're PLSX Maxi. Not talking about Maxi. This is the Maximus there. I had to catch up on that one. But PLSX, I am very bullish on PLSX. Yes, indeed. And of course, you can pick up a whole ton more than today with the price pullback. So kind of cool. Superman Morning says Pineapple 888. Good to see you. Morning as well. Long live RH says DJ and Hexkin. Absolutely, we will win. Says Pineapple 888. I like the strong supportive community there. All right, let's get back into it. Let's get into the big little Intel Alpha here from Nuclear Herbs. Now, just a bit of a background. Nuclear Herbs here is nothing I say is legal advice. Mostly retired attorney. Navy veteran, 2 times Ironman, bit of an all-round high achiever from the looks of it. 140.6 finisher, 2 times beer hockey champs as well. Was it Pulsechain Law School only accredited in Exco? How about that? And he's got 6,000 followers there. So that is who we're going to be. Got a bit of intel here. He says, I just got off the phone with someone who attended RH discovery hearing this morning. At their request, I will not mention them by name, but I can possibly thank them. Can't possibly thank them enough for the incredibly valuable information they were able to provide. For future reference, the courthouse staff took everyone's devices away except the lawyers, so nobody could record anything if they wanted to. For background, it's incredibly unusual for anyone besides attorneys and the judge to be at discovery hearings. It's rare that that parties themselves are there. Those types of hearings are boring, and most of the ones I've seen or been part of consist of attorneys complaining about stuff while the judge tries to make the children stop fighting. The average citizen takes zero interest in them. For sure, seeing a person watching the hearing was a surprise to everyone there, but I'm very grateful for the info. There was some conversation about Hex Pulse and PulseX, whether or not they will be represented. The SEC seemed to acknowledge that those are not actual entities and simply code. I'm not sure how that issue will get resolved, but I assume we'll learn more as we see this case move along. I'm not sure what good it would do to have any attorney represent code, since there's no method of effectively communicating with or advising a client that doesn't actually exist. It's also hard to get non-existent clients to sign retainer agreements that are required by the state bar or to pay their bills. So this idea creates a whole host of real-world problems. Not expectedly, the SEC is looking for discovery on pretty much every issue right now and wants basically unfettered access to information about RH's communications, his debts, influences in the community. The judge apparently wasn't willing to entertain those types of blanket requests. So that's kind of a good news there, which is the right call. I agree with that one. Discovery is not a fishing expedition. In other words, they just can't go and get everything they want. It's not a lolly shop. It's not it's just the way it's going. It's not Willy Wonka's. It's not Willy Wonka's. You're not going in there. All right. Discovery is not a fishing expedition, a term only used by courts. An overbroad request return to get narrowed or denied together. I expect that to be the case here based on what I have heard, which is good news. That's good direction. She ordered the parties to discuss and come up with a more limited target discovery plan and set a hearing for May the 2nd, which the court indicated may be telephonic. so we may be able to all listen in. That'd be interesting. It sounds like the court thought the SEC's requests were too broad. This makes sense, and also note that 19 months or so have passed since the SEC's service of its subpoena and not following up and trying to enforce everything you served 19 months earlier doesn't scream urgency. And from what I understood from my source, that's how the court saw it as well. In a pretty cool move, my source also stopped and chatted with RH attorneys after the hearing and said that the RH lawyers were supremely confident in RH's position, not just with respect to this hearing, but with respect to the ability to prevail against the SEC. That's actually a pretty remarkable thing for attorneys to just tell someone outright, unless they're talking to a journalist, a journo, or some other media figure, and they want to get the message out to the people. Maybe that was the case here. Who knows? But it's certainly nice to hear that directly from RH team. Yeah, so pretty cool. So this is the key takeout there, that the RH lawyers were supremely confident in RH's position. And of course, they're going to go into battle with that. Guys, remember, these guys' lawyers are the heavyweights. They are, top of the list there. My source also said that RH lawyers told them that it would be great to have more people show up. So this is something that the community can really get involved with. I know that Hexologist, I think Maddie Allen and others are wanting to get a whole ton of people to the court meeting that's coming up in October. So support RH during upcoming hearings. So remember this for the October 24th oral arguments. Now, obviously, Richard's going for dismissal, right, which will be biggest event of the case so far. If you're anywhere in New York City and can make it, it looks like the RH attorneys think a packed courtroom might help send a message. I think that's true, and especially around the entities and things like that. Again, many thanks for the info. So that was from this character here, Nuclear Herbs. So that's kind of pretty bullish there, and we'll repost that. Now I'm going to post this. Had 69,000 views on that. I'm going to post this in the chat there if you want to check that out yourself. But there he is there. So I think that was a pretty good bullish little update there from someone that actually attended the court hearing there on the information discovery phase. Now, obviously, Richard's going for dismissal, so we'll see how that progresses. Now, Pineapple says we will win. Yeah, I like that sentiment there. All right, so that's pretty much it. You see quite a few people in there responding. Gary Woods, lots of influencers, all the usual people there. So you can get involved with that as well. KDP saying here, May 2nd is the next date. Both parties have to come up in agreement what sounds grounds the discovery if a move forward would include. Then October is the big date. But of course, he's going for dismissal. So we'll see how that goes too. All right, let's move on. That is it. So the other big thing that we had today is a Pulsechain Decun upgrade. So that was kind of cool. And that was only a couple hours ago, maybe 4 or 5 hours now that got released. And you can see this is a large release with many updates from the upstream project, including full support for the Decun Ethereum DNAB fork. So Decun upgrade there. If you are updating a validator, this is particularly important for your validator. It should be updated after or at the same time as the beacon node. This release includes API changes between the validator and the beacon node. If the validator is updated first, it will encounter 404 errors until the beacon node has been fully updated. So very important from them. So on. So yeah, notable upstream changes. The DNAB support fully implemented. So Decun upgrade, support for multi-arch Docker containers, many performance improvements, and added EIP 4881 support, but with PGO there. So there's some of the highlights there at the moment. Now, for those that have got validators independently, you can, which I'll post this here if you want to check this out as well. It's always good to post the source, isn't it? Yeah, Brennan says get their Hexkins in the States. If you're in the United States, yeah, go through that, support that court case if you can make it in New York. I'm sure a lot of big influencers like Hexo and Maddie and others are going to be trying to encourage a big attendance to that court. Will make a big difference, I think, a big difference. All right, so there is the GitLab there for that Prism update. But in any case, David Feder, who is pretty much leading the over 50% of validators are through David Feder's setups and software and technology, things like that. His store that he's got, Validator store. Now he's made a tutorial video on how to update your Pulsechain validator to the latest version for that. So that's something you can check out as well. I'll post the link if that is relevant to you for validating. So let's post that in the house. That is David Feder. Obviously does great jobs around that. Ask him any questions if you've got any questions. And he's got a YouTube video. Watch that. Pretty much around deleting the database and updating for that big move. All right, check my pulse says, let's go in New York. I'll get my horns. Nice one, check my pulse. I like that. That's how we rock and roll. All right. Some nice stuff there from Dave Feder. All right, that leads us into the markets. So we've got the market results for day 335. Can you believe it? We've got some really good. This is where we're getting the third part of the live stream here, accumulation zone. Here are the prices for the end of day 335. We've got quadruple 0845 is the price for Pulse. So we're well below the mean sacrifice price by 15 percentage points there. So we're at 85% of the sacrifice price. So the price is down 10.7%. So, a lot more volume there. We have broken down through that important quadruple 09. So you guys know that was our previous support. So we have got a sliding ability here. So DCA for the win is probably the play. Or you can try and hold off and see whether you can time the bottom, which is always a bit trickier. Pulsex there is at quadruple 0324, down 11.9%, and we are sitting at a 32.4% of the mean sacrifice price. And the buy and burn, though, is continuing to rise. 796 billion bought up and burned. We're at 3.91%. That's pretty cool. Heading towards 4% of all Pulsex being bought up and burned. Now, someone said earlier there about being a PLXX Maxi, and I think it was the Living Man. You are right. I am super bullish about Pulsex in the future, and the buy and burn is playing a significant role in that bullishness. So kind of cool there. Incentive token down 13.9%, $4.01. We have broken below that 50,000 pulse ratio, and so we're sitting at 48,481. And we've got the total supply there at 28,835,000. Now, what's going to happen with that in the future? Obviously, we're in the final month. We are expecting some sort of a reduction in the emission rate there at the end of the first year. PHEX there is at 8400th of a penny, down 9.94%. Funny enough, PHEX is the best today because it's down the least. How about that? That's kind of funny. EHEX there is at 1800th of a penny, and the combined price of EHEX and PHEX is at 1.02 cents. So holding on just to that 1 cent line at the moment is good old Hex. And of course, that's day 335. Let's jump over to some of the price charts here. We can see here on the daily that we are obviously getting closer to the halving. Now, you see Bitcoin and Ethereum are still holding up pretty strong, but we've got the sell-off here in the markets. Now, I was pretty bullish about the SEC dismissal letter and stuff like that from Richard. I thought it was we've got the winning team, so I'm not sure why the market in particular selling off. We know that whales, at least 3 or 4 or 5 whales have been playing quite a critical role in the price charts, apart from the magic carpet ride buying that we saw way back here on the 8th of March. But we have got a sell down at the moment, so this is the way it goes. And we can see that the next sort of price support at the moment is kind of where we are on Pulse, where it's 8,400. But the next sort of support area strong is 7,700. So we're at 8,470 at the moment. 7,700 is the next major support. You can see we had resistance here at this level. We also, way back at the beginning in June last year, we also had support level. So we had support and resistance at that level at 7,700. And you can see on the daily that the RSI is getting oversold on the daily. So we probably will get a bit of a bounce here. So maybe we can, if we can stop at 8,000, 8,000 it would be pretty cool. And as opposed to getting to 7,700, and we might bounce off that. So that's kind of the play there on my numbers. Now you want to get into, let's go have a look at a wider thing. We're going to have a look at the monthly here on a Pulsechain. So that's the monthly charts. And you can see also that's a pretty clear support level here back with November and November's resistance, October's resistance there, and November's June support. So that's kind of where we are at the moment, that level there. So it could slip a bit further, but once again, the RSI is getting a bit oversold, but it's still got a bit of room to move down, but definitely a good zone at the moment. But I would probably possibly hold off just a little bit. You might get you in a slightly better deal. Obviously not financial advice. You need to make your own decisions, all that good stuff. That is Pulse. Pulsex as well. Let's have a look at that. Pulsex kind of at its support level already. You guys remember these wicks that we had? 1 wick here, 1 wick two. We've basically come down to that first one here at 3,250. And of course, you can see we're back in a lot of sort of support zone here. So I'm just thinking about where that might go. I mean, typically we've probably got support at 2,800 if we break down 32.50 there, 2,800 there. Pretty loose horizontal support. We've got a bit more room to move down on the RSI. We're in the oversold territory, but not quite fully yet. Over 30, we're currently at 33. So it could be still a bit more weakness, like I say, getting back into the zone, 2,800 or something like that. So let's see where we go from there. Man, the volumes you pick up down these price levels are incredible. Remember the people that were accumulating down here at when we were down at quadruple 01 or even lower. We always lost a zero. Remember, we were down there for a little bit. The massive returns that people have taken in the accumulation zone were massive. I mean, talking about even if you held up to that big Pulsex Magic Upright day, that's like a 900x, 900%, sorry. So like 8, 9, 10x there if you're lucky enough. So we're back into the mid zone here. So this is kind of the bottom zone. We're back in the mid zone, as you can see, and accumulation zone basically. All right, let's go to the weekly. Should we go to week and have a look at that one too? That's the weekly there. So we've got lots of room to move down on the weekly, but I think we're pretty much got support at that 2,800. That's kind of where, as low as I think we're probably going to go on this move before we bounce up. And of course, we are only 8 days away from the Bitcoin halving, so we'll see how we go. Incentive token at the moment, the ratio is falling down. And we're at 48,000. We have broke that. We're still holding support though, so we've probably got good support here at 46,000. So 46,000 is kind of the limit there. We're at 48,600 at the moment, so we'll keep an eye out on that. PHEX as well. So look here, we're back down into the low zone on PHEX. So, but even though we're on the middle zone for Pulse and Pulsex, we're kind of getting back down to the low zone for X. And we're just sort of at the top of that range at the moment. We've probably got a fair amount of support at 7,100. So we'll see how we go. And we've RSI sitting at 34, so it's always got a little bit of room to move. But you can see we do tend to bounce off that 30, so it can't be too far down. And that's why I say, maybe we've got that support at the 7,000, maybe 7,200 mark there on PX. So, the lower the price, the more volume you pick up. And of course, the more mad gains you make on the upper side. So EHEX at the moment, 1,700th of a penny. And of course, you can see BankX seller's wall there. So we're miles away from that, right? We're miles away from that. So that would be 300% gains to even get to that wall. And that's where we are at the moment. So, but we have bounced off the bottom. We're in the oversold territory. We have bounced up. It's kind of a bullish sign. We may just, show a bit of weakness here before we move higher. But so far, it's holding up pretty well, the old EHEX. The combined price EHEX PX at 1.01 cents, holding on to that 1 cent line, which is right here. And it's going to be a while before we get at 3 cents. But when we do get back at 3 cents span and break it, it's going to be game on for HEX. So we'll keep looking out for that theme, particularly in May this year. All right, so that's kind of bullish there. Let's jump over to the gas prices. Have a quick look at that. 327,000 beats, so about 50% above the normal we expect, which is around 200,000. 1 cent for a Pulsechain swap, 600th of a penny for a Pulsechain transfer, 2/10th of a penny for a PRC trend transfer. Ethereum at the moment is super cheap on Ethereum, 12 Gwei, 50, but where a Pulsechain is still way better, 1,520 times better than Ethereum, which is pretty amazing. Like I say, 1 cent to do a Pulsechain swap, up to $15 to do a swap on Ethereum, even at 12 Gwei. So it's a pretty good place to do business, is old Pulsechain. Let's have a look at the Velas. Now that we were just talking about that upgrade before with the Decun upgrade. Let's go to the Velas there. So it looks like we've got, what happened to my globe? We've got one, I don't know. Did I hide globe? Show globe. I don't know what's happening there. Maybe I've zoomed too much. 1.57 trillion is the mark there. Let's actually make that a bit, where are they gone? Where's the number Velas gone? It used to be there. I don't know. We'll have to check that up. That's a bit annoying. Where are the Velas? They've disappeared. I can't see it. So, all right. So that will have to move on from there, unfortunately. Let's go to the bridge. And we've got $123.8 million on the bridge sold. So that's down about 1.2 million from yesterday, at least. So, yeah, down over $1 million or so, maybe even $1.5 million from yesterday. The PDI, the DI is definitely down 40 million there. And, of course, what else is looking interesting there? USDC, USD Tether. Okay, everything else. PXDC is down. I mean, it's down 6.9. USDL is down a little bit there, but still holding that 17 million mark. All right, let's go have a look at some of the action there. So let's stay 300 135. We've started day 336 now. And of course, let's go have a look at some of the pulse alerts, see what the big whales have been doing. Well, we did see 4.3 billion Pulsex sold 13 hours ago for 151,000 DAI. Apparently, that went into a farm, though, to start farming PLS DAI to earn incentive tokens. So pretty interesting. What else did we had happen on the Pulsechain alerts? 80 ETH bridge to Pulsechain, so that was prominent bullish on 9 hours ago. So it would have lifted our ETH there on the bridge. We had 200, only 2 hours ago, we had 266,000 DAI sent from Pulsechain to Ethereum. So that's less the system. That explains some of that money. I said, 1.2 million plus that we lost. So that's some of the money there. It's gone. And 514,000 DAI from Ethereum. So there we go. That explains at least 700 and what's that, 60, 78 or something, $72,000. So that's part of that money that's gone. All right, so that is pretty much it. Let's jump over to the other coins. We're going to have a look at the other charts as well. Let's see who else has got in the chat, though. I think that was it. Check my pulse says let's go to New York. Yeah, definitely got to get out there and support that court case as well. So looking at the Hex derivatives on Icosa Hedron, we can see that Pulsechain are both down about 9% on Hedron and Icosa. On Ethereum, the only star there is Hedron, which is up 13.4%. That's kind of cool. Looking at the big influencer coins, these are the ones that have been pumping Pulsechain the last couple of days with the big volume. Well, we got SolidX there. Look at that. Let's have a look at the down there. SolidX is down 58%, but still at $74. Impressive, right? Impressive. Let's go have a look at that because it was some pretty crazy stuff. Look at that chart, up and away. And of course, I'm sure that the founders or whales or whatever got the big money out of that. After all, that's the way it goes. Now it got all the way up to $264. Now it's $74 here. Trying to find some sort of price support here. We'll see how low it goes before it does. But that is where it is at the moment. Let's have a quick look. Should we bring the RSI up on that? I think so. Let's bring the RSI up and see what that says to us on the hourly. Well, it's definitely getting over sold territory now, so it might gain a bit of support there. Let's go to the 4 hours, though. The 4 hours is kind of the trader view. Well, on the 4 hours, it's still got plenty of room to move down potentially. So be a bit cautious around that. Let's go into the other ones here. We got 51,000 for Access Alive, still holding up there, down 21%. The Note Token at half a penny, down 33% from Randy Olasky, and Hexy Bus's Poor Pleb at down 23% there. Hexy Fires Crispy Man's is at 409,500, and it's down 40% too. So everyone's pretty much down. Even Trayvon's More Token, Ben's Armstrong's V1, and 4020 there from My Life is Awesome is down 3.7% as well. So those are the influencer coins. Did I have P memes up? No, not really. Well, we got the leaders up at the moment. We've got Shib and Pepe. Pepe is up 10% today. In fact, I think Pepe has been doing not too badly lately, so that's definitely something worth checking out. Let's jump to the stables, though. You guys know the stables were doing really well. Well, PDI is under 6/10 of a penny, down 12%, and it's poor cousins USDC and USD Tether are both down 12-13% as well. I'm sure they're going to make another move for that 1 cent mark. They got to 91/100th of a penny, so just over 9/10 of a penny, but they're going to make the move at some stage, so keep a lookout for that. That theme's still going to play out, in my opinion. Not financial advice, because it is very speculative, but it's definitely hunting that number. It's up and away all the time. I think that's it on those. We're going to jump over to the top list and have a look at the all chains. Let's go all Pulsechain and have a look at the top movers today. Now, when we look at the top movers, definitely not financial advice because many of these are very speculative. So just take them into account. It looks like we've got a calm day today, though. There's not much new on the chart. Everything's kind of been around for a few days at least. We've got Fugazi is still up 23%. We've got the reptilian currency, which is pretty nice. I know Wookie out there will be enjoying that. It's up 18.5% there. Pretty good. We've got Pepe's Pepe coin there versus Pulse and that's up 10%. Those kind of our leaders at the moment. And Gifford Wear just inching out 6%. The only utility in that list, I guess the reptilian currency is not really, it's kind of a DAO protocol. But the only utility in there is ZKZX. That is up 6% today. And of course, that's a Tornado Cash Fork on Pulsechain. And that has managed to etch out a bit of a move. So it hasn't been as much love for utilities as there has been for memes and fake stable coins that may become real. Who knows? But that is kind of where the play's been at the moment. And yeah, those DAO tokens, people do tend to like those as well because they have taxes with them and they're burning off supply and stuff like that. So it's going to play. All right, I think that's it on the list. It's going to lead us into Hex.com. Now, if you haven't checked out Hex, the link's in the video description, of course. And of course, you can buy Hex and start mining more Hex today on Pulsechain or on Ethereum. And let's check out the alerts over the last 24 hours. We've had a few big dramatic things here. We had a big penalties here, 1.1 million Hex, so that was pretty good. Richard Hart was trending, of course, on X social platform. We had a big, look at this, 5.6 million Hex matured. And of course, they got a beautiful reward of almost 13 million Hex there. Wow. And so there is great rewards in them. We had 3 million Hex stake for 5,555 days, which is pretty epic. I mean, that's a max period stake. And of course, 268 T-shares there. Congratulations to them. What else there? Let's jump in here. Yeah, Hex alerts there talking about RH lawyers. And we just covered that earlier. We had 100 million Hex as stake ended. And of course, look at that, 11.7% APY there, 11.7 million in terms of reward there. I'm not sure whose particular wallet that is, but that is pretty good. So everyone else is pretty happy about that. What else there? 4 hours ago, we had 6.9 million Hex bought for 700 million Pulse there. So there's definitely some interest in that Hex, folks. So it's kind of cool. And we're waiting for the Hex daily stats. They're not quite out yet there, but Hex is still sexy. Yeah, Hex is still sexy there. Oh, hashtag family channel. Smart people are still buying Hex at these lows. That's right. And of course, you accumulate while you can. Now, the T-share. This came out 26 minutes ago. So the T-share here on the Pulse chain is 6.96 Hex per T-share reward, around 6 cents per T-share there. And of course, with the price of Hex down this low at the moment, you can pick up heaps of T-shares, heaps of Hex, and still get a lot of T-shares. Right, because you got two things: share rate and the price. And the price is down at the moment, so you're gonna get a lot more of those at the moment. So there we go. All right, that is pretty much it. So kind of cool. I think that's it for today, and we did it all. We did it all. That's all we could do. Altruism sends wrong Pepe. It's a copy. Pepe Coin is the real OG since 2016. Look it up. Says Altruism. It's well, everything over on Pulsechain is a copy, except for new coins that have been launched since the 10th of May, or at least since the launch of Pulsechain, 12th of May. What else there? We got Anonymous in the house there, and the market's pricing them up. Altruism, got to keep up with crypto. All the prices, everything gets priced up. It's the power of the AMM and big influencers. How about that? Mask is slipping out of my mind. Don't let it slip. Oh, what does this say about? In fact, it's good. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Looks like some stuff there. What else do we got there? All right. Not sure. Let me look. Yeah. Well, moderators, if you want to just delete all those anonymous comments there. Thanks very much. Lies beneath someone like that. We've got Spike in the house there. Whoop, whoop. Hey, good to see you, Spike. Welcome to the chat. And we've got Trev as well. Caught your feed. Great work, Superman. Hey, appreciate that, Trev. Thanks very much. All right. Kind of cool. Yeah. We just don't, anonymous, you don't have to post rubbish posts. Just post something that makes sense. Don't post garbage in the chat. Thanks very much. All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the live show today. Richard Hart VCC looking pretty good, I think. Market's obviously not responding too hot at the moment, but it's always a chance to accumulate on the Pulse chain. And of course, that Decun upgrade is big news. Still development of Pulse chain moving forward, which is good, positive news there. All right, hope you guys have a good day. I will see you guys in Discord. The link's in the video description to join. 24/7, it's the place to be. And I'm going to play out, obviously, one of my favorite videos on the way out there, Magic Carp Ride video. We can't get enough of it. Can't get enough. No. All right, take care. Bye for now.
In theory, if someone were a billionaire and they had like all this money, why wouldn't they just buy more of the thing they liked instead of dumping the thing they liked? Like if Bezos bought shares in Amazon, would you be pissed off? If Apple does a stock buyback and they buy more of their own shares in their company back from the public, which is a way to turn earnings into yield for the shareholders, do you get mad and yell at Apple? And so we had to come up with a word for this fan fiction fantasy, which is the opposite of a rug pull, called a magic carpet ride. And so if you're worried about risk of a rug pull, What weighted value have you given the risk of a magic carpet ride? And it's just hilarious to me.